This story is from Africa, West Africa, and in Africa there are always times of famine, and this one is such a time. The story is from such a time. There was this chap walking through the forest looking for food, and he came across a skull sitting in an opening all on its own, white from the baking sun. And he said to himself, I wonder what brought you here. And he stood, and then he heard creak, 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 coming from the skull's jaw. And then he heard, and went closer, and he heard, woe is me misery, I cannot shed a tear. Woe is me misery, my mouth has brought me here. What do you mean, your mouth has brought you here? I said, never mind, I'll tell you later. But if you follow the way my nose is pointing, and walk for a distance, you will find some calabashes full of millet. So off the bloke went, walked for quite some distance, and there were some calabashes full of millet, and he was pleased to see food. So he went back to the skull to thank him. He said, if I didn't find this food, I too most probably would be a skeleton soon. And he headed home with his millet. When he got home, of course, everybody was pleased to see the food. And the king sent for him. And he went to the king, and the king told him, where did you get this food? You must have stolen it. He said, no, no. The skull had told him that he was not to tell anybody about him, about the skull. So when the king asked him, where did you get this food? I think you stole it. He said, no, the skull told me. A skull told me. A skull? This man is lying. So he said, listen, you will have to take me to where you got this food. And if you're lying, I'll chop off your head. So the king and about 3 or 4 warriors went off with a chap, and he took them to where he saw the skull. And when they got there was a skull sitting in the opening in the sun, and it sat there like a piece of concrete, its eye sockets like caves. Not a word. He said, oh, tell them where the food is. Tell them where the food is. Please tell them where the food is. Please, please tell them where the food is. The skull just sat there like a piece of concrete, without a word. All they could hear were the birds and the insects in the woods. He threw himself down on the ground and he said, please tell them where the food is. They think I'm a liar. Not a sound came from the skull. So the king said, this man is a liar. Cut off his head. So they chopped off his head, and off they went. And ultimately, there were these 2 skulls sitting side by side, and then the first one turned to the second and said, what I said was true. My mouth has brought me here, and your mouth has brought you too.